See, the parents firstly need to realize the value of discipline. You know, about 200 people who have reached the top of their careers, whether they are business people or politicians or defense people or pilots or whatever, and research was done, and they were asked that what are those qualities which have made you succeed in life and got you where you are today. So they listed out, and on an average about 15, 16 points, that you have to be industrious, you have to have good networking, you should have good communication skills, you should be hardworking, and all that. We know all those. Then they were asked, out of all these qualities, which one do you think is the most important? And 90% of them said the most important is self-discipline.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Great Principles. I am Seema Chhoriya. I bring to you another celebrated figure from the world of Indian academia. Success doesn't just happen. You have to be intentional about it, and that takes discipline, said John C. Maxwell, a renowned American author, speaker, and life coach who has written many books primarily focusing on leadership. Our guest today has experienced life from a vantage point of a soldier's son and has been one himself as an educator and coach. These capabilities give him an advantage understanding of the human psyche. He has led some of the finest schools in the country, one of which is the world-acclaimed Dhirubhai Ambani International School, Mumbai. This gives me a commanding perspective on schooling leadership as well. A happy school is home to happy students, and our guest certainly knows this. Please put your hands together to welcome Dr. Colonel Atul Bhandari, Principal, Kimberley Boarding School, Panchkula. Welcome to Great Principles, sir. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So, given the perspective that you have, the background from army also, and now you're an academician. So, what qualities help you transition as an educationist?
See, what is required really is that you should have a balanced personality wherein you fit into almost any organization. Of course, it has to be driven with the values which you share. Now, certain common points of the army life and a school are that both require imparting of knowledge, imparting of values, inculcating discipline. So the shift is quite easy. I mean, I found it that it was a very smooth transition from the army world to the schooling world.
Right, wonderful, sir. So, is there any perspective that you would like to share with us that how being in army today makes you give you an edge as an educator?
See, if you see the advanced countries like the US, UK, and various other countries, they have conscription. That is, they have compulsory military training for all their able-bodied men. It is compulsory. You can't get away with it. Now that puts the entire lot of people, let us call it the civil world, onto one grid. They know this is the way of doing things. That is why you will find that people will stop at a red light because discipline is ingrained in them. You will see that they will not throw litter on the streets. I'm sure you would have been abroad. You find that there is a huge sense of discipline. There is a pride in the country. There is pride in the national anthem, national flag, which sadly is lacking in our country. So I am a strong advocate of the fact that discipline is the bedrock of foundation of bringing up children. As someone wisely said, when you're teaching a child about life, let the first chapter be of discipline and the rest will follow. Now, if the first chapter is not discipline, the child will not do the homework on time, the child will have issues in school, the child will not eat the correct food, the child will not wash his or her hands. But if the first lesson is discipline, you will find all these things fall into place automatically.
Absolutely, sir. When a disciplined person knows the value of time, they knows the value of, their own personal relations, they know they have to be available at the moment when it is required. And discipline also helps you to frame yourself as a better person, as a better citizen of the nation. Yes. So yes, very true. It is very much required to be inculcated in our children today. So going ahead, sir, from an army instructor to school leader, are there any major differences of instructing soldiers, that is adults, and students?
See, definitely, I mentioned some common points of having imparting knowledge and teaching values and discipline. But there is one huge difference, and that is for the army. You're grooming and training and coaching, guiding adults who are already part of a disciplined community. They are already instantly disciplined, so it is easier in a way to teach them because they have to follow instructions. They rarely have any other choice. So obedience to orders is as good as immediate. Now, in the student world, it is quite the opposite. We must realize that the children are all malleable. They're young people, they're young human beings trying to strive to become and blossom into a flower. So the guidelines have to be, you have to be very tender with them. It has to be a lot of love, lot of care, and a tremendous amount of patience. So that is one huge difference, that when you're grooming children as a head of school or as a school director or a principal or a CEO, you have to have love, care, tenderness, and patience as your bywords.
Absolutely. So, for every educator, these things, love, care, tenderness, patience, which is very much required, then only they can successfully groom their children. Right. So, going ahead, sir, as an educator, you're responsible for so many aspects of successful schooling. One amongst being the Dhirubhai Ambani International Mumbai School, which you claim to, which was your claim to fame, sir. So, what qualities define efficient leadership to allow overall success of the institution as an head?
See, apart from the standard requirements, which we all know, that you should have knowledge, you should have good communication skills, you should be a people's person. So I'm not going to list out all those are known, but I would wish to highlight a few for being successful leader. Is that you have to have a very high level of EQ, that is an emotional quotient. Possibly, in the 19th, 20th, and 30th, it was, I am the leader, I am the boss, follow me. You people need not think, just do what I say and do what I do. Now, that philosophy is grossly outdated. Right now, you have to follow a team's aspect. Just to explain my point, situation A, which is the incorrect situation, is, let us say that there is a flag of your school or your organization, and you as the leader hold that flag in your hand figuratively, and everybody else follows. Now, I do not follow that philosophy. I have given that flag in the hand of my team members, the core team. I said, you carry this flag. You are carrying the izzat of our institution, of our school. I am there one step behind you, like a shepherd, like a chaperone, and telling you, okay, let's go a little left. Let's go a little faster here. Let's go a little right. Let's go a little slower here. The responsibility stays with me, but you have to instill in the people who are there with you that, yes, you're very much the team, and with you, we succeed. Without you, we are nothing. So that is very important.
Absolutely, sir. You cannot perform in silos. A team player can only bring success to organization, and team spirit is, which is something, the most essential quality to have to be a school leader. You are the person of people, people's person. So going ahead, sir, we spoke about discipline, how it is important and necessary for children, students. So, sir, you believe in discipline and meticulous planning. I would like to ask you, how can parents help their children inculcate this wonderful habit from parents' perspective?
See, Seema, let's get one thing very clear. I again wish to reiterate the fact that unless the first chapter in your child's life is discipline, the rest are not going to meet with success. Please realize I am also a parent. I also have children, and I have also brought them up in the same thing with great success with God's grace. Now, what exactly can parents do? Let me be specific and give an example. Now, parents, out of a mistaken sense of love, just do whatever the child beckons and demands. Let us say that a child is in his or her room. It is time to go out and play in the evening at 5:30. So the room is in a mess. The towel is thrown on the floor. The toothpaste, cap is left on the sink. The AC is on. The fan is on. The beds are strewn with clothes. The shoe is thrown in one corner. The socks are thrown somewhere else. So he says, "Mama, I'm going out to play." So now the mom, out of a mistaken sense of love, says, "Okay, beta, please go, and I will do up the room." And then she very nicely spends 15 minutes, 20 minutes doing up the room. picking up that shoe, closing the Colgate toothpaste, and putting the AC off and all that. That is incorrect, because when we do that, you're sending a clear message to the child that you are a guest here on this world, darling. You're a guest. We are there at your beck and call. We are there to serve you. Now, this gives a very mistaken notion to the child. Now, this mistaken formula might work till the child is at home. But when the child steps out into this big wide world and realize that it is really chaotic, this formula of being a guest doesn't work. Neither at home, neither with his wife, neither with the boss, neither with the colleagues. You have to stand on your own feet. So what should the mother do? She will say, sorry, you will pick up that towel, you will close that lid, you will switch off the AC, you will put your shoes in the correct place, you'll put your soils in the soil linen bin, then you'll wash your hands, and then you'll go. This has to be done. So the child gets a message, there are certain things which has to be done. This is inculcating that sense of discipline.
So we can begin, like as a parents, we can begin from these small household chores and teach our children that this is your responsibility, this is your room, you are responsible for keeping it clean. And there is no one else who is going to do this for you. So finish that work. And we as parents are role model for them. And that is how they learn. So sir has shared a very important parenting message here for all our parents out there. Please don't, be mistaken by love. Rather, make your child disciplined today. It will help him as a grown-up. So, sir, going ahead, sir, you have, there have been a long list of awards and recognitions that have been bestowed to you, sir. You have been, outstanding academic leader of the award in Dubai, UAE, leader in education, White Swan Award for most influential leader in education, doctorate awarded PhD in education, All India Principal, Progressive Principal Award, Outstanding Contribution in Education, Educators Award, Life Skills Award, Best Mentors. The list is so long, it just goes on. So these are the accomplishments which sir have. So sir, here I would like to ask you, what advice do you have for the careerist who just want this shortcut for success?
See, I think they need to have a philosophy clarified for themselves that there is no shortcut to anything worth achieving. If there is something worth achieving, no matter what it is, the hard way, the long way only makes it successful. There is no shortcut to anything achieving. As they say, there is no, elevator for success. You have to take the stairs. So I want to give an example. Let us say, for example, in my previous school, the Dhirubhai Ambani, one of the parents was Sachin Tendulkar. Right. Now, this gentleman, when it is raining, he has to go out and practice cricket. He has an injury in the eye, he'll go out and play cricket. One day he's not in the mood to play cricket, he'll go out and play cricket. One day he has stomach trouble, he can barely walk, he has to take medicine, he'll go out and play cricket. One day he'll go out when it is little dark, it is raining. So in all conditions, he's working. One day it is very windy, he'll go out and play cricket. He's not taking a shortcut. He's taking each thing step by step. And that has made him the greatest cricketer on earth. In fact, one captain of an Australian team remarked, I have seen God. He bats in number 4 in the Indian cricket team. So what a tribute, and coming from an Australian. So what do we learn? We learn that there is no shortcut to success. You have to work one step at a time, one level at a time. When Kapil Dev had made, taken 400 wickets test cricket, he was asked that when are you going to reach 500? He said, wait, my target now is 425. Let me reach 425. Then I'll think of 426 and 450 and all that. So it is one step at a time. And that is what I suggest to the careerists, that keep your goal clear, be sure what is the path to it, and take one step at a time and achieving it. And for that, various things are required. But here in this talk of ours, I wish to highlight that the role of a mentor is very important, because the mentor is one who has been there, who has done that, and he's the one who shows you the way. So a mentor is there required as a crucible for your leadership coaching. Without a mentor, you're in the sea.
Right, sir. Hearing the example of these living legends, sir, today's generation, when I see my children, they want quick results. Everything is like disrupting everywhere. We see startup stories overnight, things are happening. So how do we teach our children to have this perseverance, to work hard and achieve your goals? How do we teach them to be focused?
See, I'll answer the question very specifically. You have to make them realize that the shorter method is not going to work. It's not going to work in the long run. Now, just by saying it will not work is not going to make sense to our children. You have to show that it doesn't work. Let us say, tell them that you want to be physically very fit. So say shortcut method. Shortcut method is that you will go to the gym for about 4 to 5 hours a day. You will work there for 5 days, 6 days, 1 week, 10 days, and suddenly you expect muscles to come rippling out of your shirt and you'll be Mr. He-Man. Say it doesn't work. In fact, tell them that you ask any doctor, any trainer, they'll say this is going to do more harm to your body because you put it under intense strain. So what is the solution? Solutions go slow and steady. First, do the warming up part, do the light exercises, do the easy ones. 1 or 2 months have gone, get into the higher level. 6 months have gone, get into a higher level. Try out cardio, try out aerobics, try out bodybuilding, try out other things. It'll take you 2 years. But once you achieve the body after 2 years, you are somewhere near a He-Man. So make them realize this. Now, as an adult, you realize this, Seema. As an adult, I realize this. Our role is to make the children realize it so that they come up to the level of thinking, of experience, of maturity which we have. So that is important. Make them realize the truth of shortcuts won't work.
So to all my viewers out there, it is very important that we teach our children that there is no shortcuts. The things which are achieved step by step are there to stay. In the long run, if they want to have their life successful, they need to understand the value of small steps that are taken today to build a better tomorrow. So that is the mantra which is going to help them succeed in their life further. So going ahead, this makes me to reach to a very interesting segment of the show, which is called rapid fire round. You have to answer in one word, maximum 1 sentence I'll permit. So here goes the first question. Tell us your fondest memory as an army instructor.
It was ensuring that the young officers start behaving in an officer-like manner.
All right.
I finished the sentence. Let me explain it.
Sure.
Just by putting a uniform and putting on the epaulets and wearing a cap, you don't become an officer. There is something called, which we in the army called officer-like qualities, OLQ, officer-like qualities. So my success is that not just teaching the children about the students and officers about tactics and weapons and how to kill the enemy, but in inculcating the officer-like qualities in them.
All right. So sir's fondest memory is inculcating the officer-like qualities in the students. Next question to you, sir. What is your leisure time activity?
Reading. I read extensively, and I have basically one pet subject, and that is self-improvement, how to improve the art of communication, how to improve decision making, how to improve negotiation skills, how to be an effective leader, how to be an effective team member, what are the dysfunctions of a team, how do you motivate your team. So my entire books, and I've read hundreds of them, are just on this one subject, which in simple language is self-improvement.
Wonderful. So sir is someone who always believe, in improvising himself and making himself a better version of his own present. So wonderful, sir. This is a beautiful habit, and making improvement on your own self is something which we all should adapt to. So sir, going ahead, coffee or tea, what warms you up?
Coffee.
All right.
Actually, warming up is more in the mind. The coffee is just a stimulus, but it is the mind which gets activated. So the warming up is something which happens in the brain. For example, even when we're sipping a cup of coffee, yes, the taste is in the tongue, but it is felt and sensed in the brain. That's how the brain and the human body function.
All right. So sir is a coffee person, and coffee is something which stimulates his brain. So going ahead, sir, name your favorite author or book.
See, Wayne Dyer is my favorite author. And the book, which is the last one read, is No Excuses. This is a book of about 300, 400 pages. And there, by the time you finish the book, one feels like such a big fool the next time you try to make an excuse for anything in your life, personal or professional. He explains it in a very clear manner. So my favorite author is Wayne, W-A-Y-N-E, Wayne, Dyer, T-Y-E-R. And the favorite book I have is No Excuses.
So what a wonderful topic, we all say no excuses, and every day mistakenly we all make excuses somewhere or the other, just to avoid certain situations or just to come out of something. Every time we are making excuses. So I'm sure after reading this book, there would be a drastic change. So to all my viewers out there, go out and read this wonderful book as suggested by Sir. So going ahead, Sir, what helps you bond with your pupils?
The human connect. I mean, relationship cannot be of a boss and a colleague or a junior. It won't last long. The human bond is important. Even when I am talking to you, let's say you're taking an interview, so it doesn't, end there. Once we have a human connect, then the bond comes up. So the answer is the human bond, the human connect.
So now, sir, in this virtual situation, sir, how you're connecting with your students?
See, at times we have been connected with them online, but these days we've given them a break. So we get into an online or offline mode as required.
All right. So, we all are looking forward for this, when we have the opportunity to connect again with the students. And, whatever we say, sir, I think, physical schooling was best. So, sir, going ahead.
I fully agree, because the human connect will always transcend anything online. So I fully agree with you that it is the human connect, the physical contact part of schooling, which is always the best.
Right. All right, sir. So coming to the next question, sir, you have inspired and coached many to achieve success in their lives. I would like to know who inspires you to be a better academician.
The answer is very easy. His name is Dr. Colonel Atul Bhandari. Let me get it very clear. The true motivation has to come from within. Let us say that the motivation for you or me or a child or someone is coming from outside. Now you will agree that that means that that child, that person is dependent on an external source for his own motivation, for the inspiration. Now this causes a locus of control which is inside us, in the human body, in the human mind, has been outsourced outside. I mean, something like you have an organization of, a big building of 10 floors, and you have outsourced housekeeping to agency X. You have outsourced security to agency Y. For heaven's sake, we can't outsource these critical things. The motivation has to be self. You have to be self-inspired, self-motivated. Your happiness has to generate from inside. We have to have everything inside us. I cannot afford to let these important things be dependent on some external agency or external person. So the answer is self-motivated, self-inspired.
Absolutely, sir. I totally agree with you. And I really believe in the fact that a person is himself responsible for what is happening in his life. You are yourself who decide whether you want to be happy or you want to be sad. You have to push yourself beyond your limits and see what you are capable of. Then only, something can happen, because external motivation do work, but for a little while. But the self motivation is something which keeps you ticking full time. It's keep you charged up. Right. So, sir, going ahead, how can the parents help the children, to inculcate the habit of discipline?
See, the parents firstly need to realize the value of discipline. About 200 people who have reached the top of their careers, whether they are business people or politicians or defense people or pilots or whatever, and research was done, and they were asked that what are those qualities which have made you succeed in life and got you where you are today. So they listed out, and on an average about 15-16 points, that you have to be industrious, you have to have good networking, you should have good communication skills, you should be hardworking, and all that. We know all those. Then they were asked, out of all these qualities, which one do you think is the most important? And 90% of them said the most important is self-discipline, because if that quality is not there, I can't do the others. So the parents need to realize that if they teach the children the value of discipline, what exactly is discipline? Discipline is that you do something which you know is good for you, although you don't want to do it. Let me say that we should go for a morning walk, or we should go morning and do some PT or whatever. Now, I'm quite sure if we asked people who go for a morning walk, possibly 80% or 90%, including adults, would say, I don't like doing it. Who wants to get out of bed on a cold morning and go out? But they overcome that resistance and yet go for a walk because of the sense of discipline, because they know it is good for them, for their body, for their mind, for their health. That is discipline. Another example, in today's times, a child comes home from school and says, Mama, I'm hungry, and heads to the dining table, give me something to eat. What should be done? The mom says, you will get all the food you want to eat. First, you will go put your bag in the correct place. You'll take off your uniform. You'll put your shoes in the shoe rack. You'll put your socks, etc., in the soiled linen bin. You'll wash your hands and face. Then, darling, please come to the dining table and eat whatever you want. Now, this is inculcating that sense of discipline. Like I said, at times parents say, okay, never mind, beta, I'll come like this, nothing happens. Now, that is where you're doing a great disservice to the child. Because the child feels, I can get away with whatever I want. This formula might work for those 10, 12 years while the child is at home. But in the big bad world, it is not going to work. You have to stand on your own feet.
Right. So to all my parents out there, all my viewers out there, if you really want that your child should succeed in life, teach them self-discipline. Self-discipline is the biggest character trait that can be there, that is going to help them in every walk of life. So, one more thing that I'm always curious to know, I believe that army people are early risers and we have a difficulty rising early. So what would be your advice to inculcate the habit of rising early and how it would help us?
See, there are various ingredients to this answer. The first is we realize as parents on the importance of sleep. Many years back when I was in Mumbai, I read in the papers that one gentleman who's 39 years old or something has become the youngest CEO of a great company with some 6-figure or 7-figure salary and all that. So he was interviewed in the Times of India. I was reading that paper. And when it came to how many hours do you sleep, his answer was that I sleep 4 hours because I feel it is a waste of time to sleep beyond 4 hours. When I was reading this paper, my wife was next to me and I told her, this man is not going to survive. Seema, 4 months later, this man died. Very sadly, he died. Because it is an imbalanced sense that, sleeping is a waste of time. Are we aware that during sleep, there are millions of cells being regenerated in our body? There's a lot of repair and maintenance work being done by nature inside us. So it is not a waste of time. So first is you realize the importance of sleep. Number two, if you're physically tired during the day through physical exercise or something, please note, I use the word physically tired, not mentally tired. If you're physically tired, going to sleep will be very easy. So when you go to bed early and you get up early, the whole body clock becomes better. Now, as per any sleep expert, it is advised that you should get up by about 6:37. You must get fresh air. You must get the morning vitamin D from the sunshine. You must have, fresh time in the morning. All these things inculcate into good habits, which will help the child. So it is very important that we must get our sleep on time.
Right. So the only formula to rise early is to plan your day well and sleep on time. Then only you can rise early. If you're like sleeping around 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. and expecting to get up at 6, you will ruin your own body. You will not stay longer.
See, there is also one more thing. At times we think that today is a weekend, it is a Saturday, it is a Sunday. So obviously I have a license to stay awake, stay in bed till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, whatever. Now, please note, Seema, that the body does not recognize Sundays. The body does not recognize holidays. There are certain activities going on inside our body every day. Like food has to be, treated and expelled. Then we have to have fresh air. We have to have morning water and all that. So once you do it over the years, it becomes ingrained in life. What does it result in? Calmer mind, peaceful relations. You talk to your wife in a better manner. You are more stable. You take better quality decisions. You drive the car in a more peaceful manner. You don't have road rage. Your blood pressure is not affected. You're a more happy, more healthy, more smooth and better person because you've had a full quality of sleep. So sleep, I would say, is a critical requirement.
Absolutely, sir. Sleep is something when your body repairs itself and boosts you for the day ahead, next day. So yes, sleep is very important, and rising early is also important. As sir said, that you need to have vitamin D, you need to start your routine early and have all the fresh start for the day. So, sir, going ahead, this brings to the last question, which is also called viewer's choice question. So, our viewers send us a lot of questions, and the one which I have picked for you is, and this is so relevant in these days, and especially in India. What is the best practice parents can do to help children to become self-reliant in studies?
See, let it be clarified right now that again we are asking something about studies. Nothing wrong with it, but please realize that this is a wrong question in the sense that the parents are giving excessive reliance on studies. Somehow there is a feeling in parents, and more so in India, that if a child gets X marks, 95, 97, 100 or whatever, that translates into the child will be a success in life. Not so at all. Not so at all. At best, good academic scores will lead the child to a good college, a good university, and possibly to a good job. But please note, Seema, that it will not necessarily translate to being a success in life, either a personal life or in a professional life. Those factors are very different. So I'd be happier if the parents start asking, what can I do to ensure my child learns life skills so that he or she is a success in life? Others will have people who are, graduate from the MBAs of the best institutes in our country. He's possibly driving a Mercedes, but he'll open his door and spit out pan. You'll possibly have a situation where a chap says, I'm IIT and I am from so-and-so institute and all that, but he misbehaves with his wife, he misbehaves with his children, he shouts and talks. So I want to ask these parents that what is the purpose of that great education you gave? As it is, knowledge has a very low shelf life. It is freely available on Google, possibly more accurate than what our son or daughter can tell. But the other values of making the child self-reliant, let us say that you're sending your child abroad for foreign education. I will ask, because I've done these things for my two children when I sent them abroad, that have you taught them to stand on their own feet, to take their own decisions? Tomorrow, she will be driving a car in Canada. Can she change a tire on her own? Does she know how to negotiate? Can he cook a meal? Does he know how to iron clothes? Does he know how to solve a problem with friends? No, we just want to know that has he got marks in chemistry, physics, and maths, and that is end of the story. Not so at all. So parents, for heaven's sake, please ensure that your focus is on bringing up the child as a human being, not just marks.
Absolutely, sir. Sadly, we all are running behind this rat race of marks. We all want our children to, get, even if the child gets 98, we wonder why did he get 99? If he gets second rank, we wonder why he didn't come first. And this is what is very much prevalent. But yes, there is a change. People are looking forward to teaching more skills to students. And what is going to help, that is life skills and values, which our children are going to take further. Marks are truly not the measure of their success. It is their personality. So, sir, thank you for this wonderful session, sir. And we gained a lot of insights on parenting today and how discipline matters in life, sir. It was really an enriching session with you. So thank you so much for your time. It was wonderful to have you here.
Thank you.